Thank you so very much, Tabitha. Now we talk with Elie Smith. You're going to take the text messages for our televiewers. You come back and then you're going to read them. Just after you will be receiving Kejang Henry Atembe. But for Elie Smith, good morning.
Good morning.
I think at last we'll be having Elie Smith on the screen. How's the night like, my bro?
Well, not a very nice night. Yeah, it's not well.
What happened?
Um,
Are you sick?
well,
Is somebody sick around you?
nobody sick around me. I'm suffering from cold, but that's not very.
Cold,
Yes,
okay.
but that's not the really major problem. My problem is this official report of the government of Cameroon. That's what really annoyed me.
Yeah, Elie, before we come to the nitty-gritty of
Yes.
our slot, we'll be talking about all these things with Kejang, Henry, and you. I want us to really comment the report of the State Council for the Central Region, who said that Interpol investigators, professionals in the field came to Cameroon, and at the end of the day, they discovered that Bishop Jean-Marie Benoit Bala committed suicide. Why the Roman Catholic Church, the Episcopal Council, said it clearly in an interview Clatus gave to RFE. He said it clearly that Bala was assassinated. What's wrong with this country and the different reports, Elie?
Now, there is something before I go down there. This, the State Council for the Central Region, who is trying to claim that. The thing is that they want to say, okay, we brought experts from Europe.
From Europe.
They want to discredit our local experts. The problem wrong is that this is an evil regime, it's corrupt, and that we should stand and have the courage to say no. I believe in the initial report of the Episcopal Conference.
And the reserve this same State Council had in the very beginning.
Exactly.
He said it clearly that it looks like he has been assassinated.
Exactly.
But today he's saying different, another thing.
Yeah, the State Council doesn't have the courage, and that's where, you know, if you want to change an institution, if you want to leave to be thought of, you know, what is most important in life is what you leave behind, the legacy. And I think that State Council, well, what is that? Is in Tamak. That's the only name I retain.
That's, yes, then in Tamak.
Yeah, I don't want to focus on him, but I just want to say that report should be ignored as far as I'm concerned. I believe in what the Roman Catholic initially said, that Archbishop Bala was killed. He was killed, and it's not the first time that such a thing happened in this country. You know what happened to the Bishop of Kumbo some time ago, simply because he was against a vaccination campaign, and then he was brutally murdered. So I believe in what the Roman Catholic Church said initially, and this new report from the State Council, as far
His
as
name
I'm
is
concerned,
Jean-Fils Ntamak.
Jean-Fils Tamak,
Yeah.
the State Council for the Central Region. I don't take it into consideration, but I feel very bad for this country.
Let me read
It's a
what
sick country.
the press release. The Procurator General at the Central Court of Appeal wishes to inform the public that the judicial inquiry into the suspicious death of Bishop Jean-Marie Benoit Bala, approximate English even they are calling him Monsignor, Bishop of the Diocese of Bafia, is actively continuing. At the current stage, investigators have questioned many persons and conducted various searches. Information gathered is being processed to establish the truth. Post-mortem examinations were carried out on the mortal remains of the Bishop of Bafia after initial examination by two teams of local medical doctors on 2 and 22 on the 2nd and the 22nd of June 2017. The decision was taken to resort to international expert through Interpol. The forensic medical doctors sent by Interpol for the purpose, namely Professor Michael Sutkus, director of the Berlin Institute of Forensic Medicine in Germany, and Dr. Mark Mulder, coordinator of the Disaster Victim Identification Unit of Interpol, arrived Cameroon on the 29th of June. After the close examination, they noted the absence of any trace of violence on the body of the deceased and concluded in the light that the drowning was the most probable cause of the death. Let me end there. Initially, we know, Elie, that if somebody drowns, you have a protruded stomach. But that was not the case. And then the Roman Catholic report said the legs had some issue and some, I don't want to say genital organs, some essential organs were absent. So how come these people want to justify this thing like this?
They want to justify their money, period. That's one thing. We have to first of all start believing in Cameroonians.
Yeah.
Why should Cameroonians say something and Jean-Fils Ntamak in his press release just wants to make us believe that since Interpol sent us the so-called experts from whatever country they want to mention, we should believe them. This is the kind of notion that if somebody comes from Europe, whatever thing he says or she says should be taken as
gospel. At that time, some of them are even charlatans.
Yes, should be gospel truth. I want to challenge this man to come here for an interview and then tell us the details if he has nothing to hide. But first, I don't want to drag it longer than necessary. As far as I'm concerned, I believe what in the initial report from the Roman Catholic Church,
assassination.
I believe, period, he was
kidnapping, assassination later on.
He was assassinated because this is a government that is evil, that will stand or will stop at nothing to arrive at their position. So they are ready to kill people, they are ready to suspend the press, they are ready for the worst.
Some are even calling them a Dracula regime.
Yes, they are. So, this regime, it looks like a baby dog of Haiti. So it's a very old that of Fulgencio Batista in Cuba. And the dying day. So it's a regime that is immoral, corrupt, incompetent. I think I've exhausted the terminological definition of this regime. So I feel saddened. But now it is upon the Cameroonians to take the decision to decide
what is going on now in the country.
To decide what they want for the future instead of perorating or talking secretly behind doors.
Kejong Henry, good morning, bro.
Good morning.
How are you?
You are not bad.
We're talking about this issue of the report of Jean-Fils Ntamak. Tell us, what's your take about this?
Well, without necessarily being an expert in any of those things, we have grown up to know certain people who have been involved in certain kinds of accidents. We've known people who have drowned in wells, because I'm talking about wells. Since we don't have potable water or drinking potable water in our neighborhood, I know cases of people who drowned in water in less than 48 hours. They had, like we were talking,
protruded stomach,
like yours. But in that particular case, everybody is asking the question, what happened? How could the bishop, who spent about 72 hours in the water, maybe he was pushed out immediately by the waves. Maybe he was pushed out by the waves and was hanging somewhere, and that is why they did not find any water in him. But I want to say, we're asking the question, how could he come out of water 72 hours so caucasus, with a very teeny and bony frame, a man that used to be very bulky. So, well,
the Roman Catholic Church said he was kidnapped at home, and then brutally killed.
Yes.
He spent 2 days in captivity, and they killed him the 3rd day. Yes. And the report of the State Council is saying that he drowned.
Yes.
And initially, this same State Council said, from the looks of things, it looks like he was assassinated. The very first day.
The very first day. Yeah, it looks like, waiting for probably
checking on some organs of his body we didn't see.
Waiting for his. Because if you find somebody with the genitals chopped off or some vital organs chopped off, it's certainly been for rituals.
Yeah.
There is no. We're not living in a jungle where you think rats will come and eat off your genitals.
Yeah.
Rats, even animals.
And then it looked like it was electrocuted.
Even animals are afraid of dead bodies.
Yeah.
Dead human bodies.
Yeah.
It's not easy because it's a very strong spirit. Well, what the government is doing, because the Catholic Church was very fast
with their
reports in reacting, and so the government is just doing a counter reaction to what the Catholic Church did. Now we are expecting, because they said they're going to hand over the body, maybe the body will be sealed and no further question. So we are expecting the church to come back with another statement on what the government has proposed.
Okay, waiting on Clatus and the other. Elie, let's continue our talk. Yesterday was about the issue of democracy in Central Africa, and we did a comparative study with other regions in Africa. Now, let's talk about the anthropological reasons behind the lacking behind of this Central African sub-region as compared to the others, and the implication of democracy.
Yeah, this is a personal research because I am very observant, and I have, throughout my professional career, done a number of reports in both West and Central Africa, and I have come to one conclusion. It might not be scientifically proven, but it's empirical, that if West Africa is what she is today, but may I also correct them, because even Cameroon is in West Africa, but politically we're in Central Africa. But then I want to talk about the equatorial part. If that West Africa, which is majority Sahelian, is progressing democratically, it's because of two factors. That's what I think.
So what are the factors?
One is religious. Two is the fact that they have had empires in the past. And then the third thing is the people themselves. You know, people who have had big empires like the Mali, Songhai, Ghana, Benin, Sokoto, have been able to bring down, to pass over their culture to their children. They have had this culture that because you are an expansionist person, you almost often want to conquer others and work with them and share your opinions and cultures with them. By contrast, in Central Africa, besides the Congo Empire that started from 1380 to 1891, because after a while it became vassalized by the Portuguese, we have not had this type of major historical community way of living. There are some people, we don't have to be ashamed. The thing is that we lie a lot. We don't have to be ashamed that we have not been like West Africans. Sometimes they talk about the Fumban Empire anyway. It did not have that that strength, good, like Sokoto, Songhai.
It was a small empire.
It was a small thing. Small empire. Very small indeed.
That could not influence the other tribes around.
That's what I think, because now when I talk about religion, you know, West Africa has this predominant Islam. Then you also have Protestant or Christian movement in the coastal part. But Islam of West Africa has something that there's a kind of dignity. I'll give you one example. I was working in the Washington, D.C. with a girl called Kamisa Kamara. She's from Mali, but born in France. And I will never forget that experience. There was a posting that came on Facebook about some girls in Cameroon and Congo. And when she saw, she told me, Elie, this thing, if I'm pictured like this on Facebook, I will never get married. Now, when you meet a Cameroonian girl, she's happy that you saw one here, I think.
Exposing the protuberances.
Yes.
What was that?
No names.
Yeah, they know the name. We talked about her here.
Here, you see. Whereas Gasha, those type of things, it is difficult to see a West African girl do that. The other day, there was one girl who came here called Jose. Jose
from Cote d'Ivoire.
From Cote d'Ivoire, and I was so touched. Look at how popular she is. But if you meet
decently
her, decently dressed and very respectful. If it was a Cameroonian woman like Charlotte Dipanda or whatever, she will not even talk to you anymore. She'll be very vulgar. I think those things is a matter of culture, and this thing is being transcended in the way we do in democratically wise. We have never had a very big kingdom since the demise of Congo Empire, where you have Bojongo who came to Douala and then brought the Douala people here and the Bakwidi and all that. So I think that this thing has to do a matter of anthropology. If you have never had an experience of management in the past, and all of a sudden you become a manager, like somebody who was a poor man, and suddenly out of a stroke of ill luck or by default he becomes rich, sometimes there's a problem. So I think the deficiencies in our democratic advancement in Central Africa has something to do anthropological, because West Africans have something like dignity. A West African, for example, like Sani Abacha, he was whatever he is, he was there are things Sani Abacha, as brutal as he was, he would not do.
Yeah, like he saved the Sierra Leonean government after a coup d'etat.
Now
he went there and then said stop.
Even an aspect of social life.
Social life.
In the aspect of social life, there are some humiliations he will not met on his people or on his adversaries, except there's the problem of power struggle. Look at, we may hate Yaya Jammeh, right? We may hate Yaya Jammeh for what he has done. If Yaya Jammeh were Paul Biya or Denis Sassou Nguesso, he will accept to die. No shame. But you see that after a point in time, he left.
Yeah.
So those people have a kind of dignity that Central Africans don't have. Our problem is that I would like to humiliate Kejang, laugh with him, humiliate him, do whatever. So we don't have this.
You laugh and then you humiliate him later.
We don't have a sense of dignity. And democracy has a problem of dignity. You cannot be like Denis Sassou Nguesso, who writes a book, who was chairman of the AU, who promulgated a charter that of talking about democracy, respect of human rights, and you come and even wrote a book in 2008, Straight Talking to Africa. Before then, in 1997, he wrote one book entitled La Souris, Le Fleuve et le Manguier, where he was extolling democracy. And yet you come, you are killing people every day, and nothing happens. Those are the things in Central Africa.
So what's the way forward, Elie? It's a bleak picture you're painting there between Central and West Africa. Anthropology has something to do with it. They've managed their society well and all that. It's a new thing, and then unfortunately for us, the colonial master left us with white men in black skin. That is why we are not improving. Now, what do you think can be the possible solution to try to fix things?
The solution now will be on the people themselves, right? It's on the people themselves. Then we need to have, we might refuse, we need to have support from abroad.
From the West.
From West and even West Africans. Because in a brutal system with which we live, with people who are undignified, who have no sense of dignity, they know no bounds in their cruelty. So what happens is that, one, we need to have a sense of sacrifice, and two, we need to be ready and humble enough to learn from others. If we learn from others, and three, we need to have support, because pro-democracy cannot work, or liberal democracy cannot succeed if we don't have support from other major liberal democracies around the world. If there is no support, we will not work, it is not going to work out. And the other thing is that one good thing I like is that with the fall of commodity prices, most of this regime around,
they are very fragile now.
They are very fragile, they are bankrupt. So it is an opportunity for us today to stand up and say,
like one man, and then fight for our rights.
Exactly.
Thank you. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your right, Bob Marley sir. Elie, you stay here. Well, we will have to talk first together. Kejang Henry Atembe. Let's begin with Sound the Two. Sound the Two is carrying us to the United States of America, the Congress. Tillerson was asked by two Chambers members about the Anglophone crisis, and they want the American government to put more pressure on the Biya regime.
Well, you might be very surprised why the Congress has spoken on the Anglophone crisis, but this is not the first time, because some senators have equally spoken, and this has gone viral on social media. So you can understand that Tillerson now has a problem. He has a word to say on the Anglophone crisis, and that is what Sunday 2 is telling us today. And if you want to know more, why not get a copy and find out what is happening in the Congress as concerns the Anglophone crisis.
Sunday 2, like that. Let's go to the SDF ECHO, Power to the People, Pouvoir au Peuple, Cameroon. And he's talking about the structural adjustment plans again of Cameroon that went to the International Monetary Fund.
Yes,
to borrow again.
Cameroon is undergoing, for those who do not understand and thinking that, well, it is still to come. We are already in the process of structural adjustments, and Social Democratic Front, ECHO, that is the SDF ECHO, is very much concerned with the economic situation of the country. And if you can read deep into the pages of the Social Democratic or the SDF ECHO, you will understand the difficulties Cameroon will be going through in the next couple of years.
people over-indebted, but a government with no real vision of development.
Good. That is probably presenting the balance sheet of President Biya's regime, the economic balance sheet of President Biya's regime for the past 34 years. And so SDF Echoes comes back to it. You have a very serious write-up from people like the Secretary General of the Social Democratic Front on Senator Jean Shomolu. You will equally have write-up from the MP of Ru East, Jean-Michel Nietzsche. And of course, a very powerful one that is coming from from Honorable Barrister.
We'll come to that, because I want us to first of all talk about this. Bishop Benoit Bala a été assassiné. The SDF is saying that according to the Karuman Catholic report, the bishop was assassinated.
Well, thanks very much for that. And let me first of all remind you and those who do not understand that the SDF Echo, without any publicity to that particular tabloid, is I think is the only bilingual
opposition
platform,
political newspaper.
Good. Well, plus one other that you know.
Le four. How they call that newspaper?
Action.
Action.
I think those two. Those are the two.
Yeah.
Those are the two.
But the main political parties in Cameroon, they have the means. They can
so that is why you have their write-ups in French and English.
And English.
Yes.
Okay.
So now, SDF Echo says the bishop
was assassinated.
Yeah, Benoit Bala was assassinated.
Brutally assassinated.
Quoting the church.
The church.
Code
of military justice in the light of the foregoing. Where are you taking our country to? Right up from Bandam.
That is it, coming from Honorable Barrister Joseph Bandam, MP for Momo, where he is picking on the bill, laying down the code of military justice in Cameroon, and of course saying that Cameroon is a party to international covenants that speaks on human rights or human and people's rights. And this, just to summarize, is a summary of the preamble of the fundamental laws of the country, that is to say the Constitution. Now, Honorable Bandam is saying that when you start trying civilians in military court, it becomes difficult. There is a problem in that, because there's going to be a problem of equitable, independent, and impartial judgment. So that is his concern. But it went further deep into the Criminal Procedure Code to say that those who were arrested, and he says abducted, were never, in fact, there was no...
You also said they were kidnapped.
Yes, kidnapped.
He said they were adopted.
Yes, so there was just no respect for the Criminal Procedure Code that needs to give them a warrant for their arrest.
Yeah. And that even if they were criminals, supposed to be judged, and then in the northwest and the southwest, so they were kidnapped.
It is an elaborate document to understand. In fact, coming from a very
Kawala also said that too.
Very level-headed jurist.
Info Matin is a daily, French daily. The death of Monseigneur Bala.
Still making rounds in the country, and of course, probably right up to the end of the year, because the Catholic Church still needs to come back. So the expertise says that Monseigneur Bala
might have drowned.
But because when you look at it, there's a problem with language here.
Yeah.
If you look at
conditional statement.
If you look at the communique that the probable, it was in fact drowning could be, or was the probable cause of his death.
So they are not even fixed on what really happened.
They don't just say he drowned, and that is why Info Matin this morning is relaying is that it might have been the cause
according to the experts.
According to the expert report, in fact, the forensic doctors, from what the Jean-Fils Tamak is telling us, said they did everything in their capacity as experts. Probably no other forensic expert could do better. So they concluded that he might have drowned. Which means even the experts themselves are doubting. And so they kept it that way.
Okay. Lady Sahel is accusing Rene Emmanuel Sadi that following the nominations of DOs and SDOs, the Grand Nord was forgotten.
In fact, Lady Sahel is very vexed because of the recent appointments of
So
senior divisional
Anglophones too
officers.
should be understood. When they get pissed off, you understand? So if the ground noise comes,
but the whole ground noise complaining, that is very dangerous. And they are saying that even one
of theirs
was not appointed.
Yes.
Even one. They said in the 10 regions, none was appointed. So the Christ's foul is scandalous. But they are even saying that because we get into layer design, they quoted some people or some senior divisional officers who have exhausted their prolongation. That is to say, they went on retirement. They were supposed to go on retirement at 55. They were added 6 more years. So 55 plus 6, I think, arithmetically should be 61. And now that they have been appointed again, they might probably stay 4 more years. So probably driving up to 70. They quoted the example of Jean-Claude Silla of Mfundi, who actually overstayed his retirement and has been appointed or maintained again. And the other case is that of Simo Kamsu Patrick, who I used to know him, has been the senior divisional officer for Menchum, and he is the one repeated for having slapped the masquerade, that is of the secret society.
Yeah. Too bad, it's not a laughing matter.
Yes, and the people of Menchum came out, and somebody who is coming from the grass field, who knows the tradition of the people, took upon himself to slap the masquerade, and it reminded us of when the white men came and could not accept such a thing, and so they were fighting with masquerades. So in fact, those are some of the examples of those who were supposed to go on retirement, and now Leur du Sahel is very vexed on that.
Canal Press wants to know where the government is going to have money to organize elections in Cameroon.
No, Canal Press, good. Canal Press
for the 4 elections, 2018. Yeah. Where are we going to get the 50 billion to organize elections?
It might not even be 50 billions, because it might be more, because when you look at the evolution of things, the cost of things last week, we will not certainly find it this week.
Skyrocket.
So Canal Press is asking because apparently there is no provision in the budget that is under draft for money for elections. So Canal Press is asking,
where are we going to get the money from? Okay, thank you so very much, Kejan. Thank you, Elie Smith. But before you go, one question I asked you already, that one, you see you don't trust the Cameroon government because it's a kleptocratic government, according to you. They are brutal, they are this and that, all the adjectives. Kejan, do you trust the Cameroon government?
Sometimes you don't trust your mother.
So, you don't trust the Cameroon government?
So they tell us, politicians always tell us, well, Cameroon, things are moving slowly and steadily, but surely.
Yes.
You see, that's just a language to fool people. But if you look at some of the things that they are doing, for example, the Kubamafe Road is coming up again 55 years after, slow and steady, but surely.
To go to Ndian, there are no roads.
I think it's slow and steady. We don't know if it's going to be surely. The ring roads.
Okay, stop philosophizing.
Slow and steady, but surely. The Bamenda Referral Hospital, slow and steady, but surely.
Yeah. So, do you trust them?
Well,
do you trust the government?
It's difficult to put your trust.
In a nutshell, you don't trust the government.
So, no, I'm not just saying that I don't trust the government. I trust them. No, it's difficult to trust anyone.
So, do you trust the Cameroon government? It's a direct question, Kejan.
It cannot be yes or no.
We are not in the court here, Kejan. We are not in the court here. You will not commit any fallacy. It's all about you. It's not. No. It's all about you. You don't trust them, or you trust them. You understand? Keja is a special guy. Like you, when he comes here, it's always like that. He thinks he's in the court. You're not in the court, Elie. Elie, thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
We take the appointment. You're greeting the people of.
Well, we are greeting the people of. There is this small village they call Dikumebalwe. We want to salute them.
The people of Dikumebalwe. Elie, the people of.
Well, anyway, I greet everybody.
Hi, Elie Smith. Yeah. Okay, we have the video of. Have you seen this funny video? The bomb prank. Okay, if we don't have it, let's have the video of our guests so that we should usher them into the studio with Vanessa Nde Yeah.
Nde.
Yeah. Nde Vanessa. Nde Tumaza. Nde. I like that name. It's a special one. Nde.
The former government delegate.
Nde. Yeah. Obamenda. Nde. Okay. Have you seen the black button? There's the black button. Or you've not seen the black button. Emma is going to try to show him the black button because his lenses are finished this morning. It's been disturbing him. I think Keja is going to borrow his. Keja, you have to borrow your
Well,
medical
no,
glasses.
they need to go for checkup first.